Listen, I'm tired of the narrative that Gohan failed twice. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of hearing that Gohan failed against Cell. I'm tired of hearing that Gohan failed against Buu. I'm tired of hearing of all these things. The disrespect will not be taken anymore. And why? Because Gohan is a name etched into the Dragon Ball legend. He is in the Mount Rushmore of anime, of television, and of personas. He is synonymous with latent power bordering on the divine. Twice, not once, but twice has his strength ascended beyond all known limits, eclipsing even his own father, Goku, and the searing image of the Super Saiyan 2 transformation born from righteous fury, the serene and unshakable confidence of the ultimate warrior confronting pure annihilation and the death of his family, the death of his friends, and the death of the world. These moments define Gohan's peak. So I'm tired of hearing all of these things, and I will explain why. Because alongside the legacy of power lingers the shadow of profound failure. So I agree, there is failure in Gohan, but it's not because he failed in the most common way that we know. Oh, he was arrogant. Oh, he was this. Oh, he could have killed Cell, but he just wanted to toy with him. No, everything that you've learned from Gohan is false. Everything that you have seen from Gohan is not to be taken at face value. So the two moments where absolute victory seemed assured only dissolved into catastrophe, and the Cell Games conclusion, forever marked by Goku's sacrifice, and the desperate attempt and the desperate battle against Super Buu culminated into Gohan's absorption. Yes, those were not his best moments, but the common narrative crystallizes around those simple verdicts. Arrogance took hold. He choked under pressure. These convenient labels are seemingly inexplicable lapses from the universe's strongest warrior. In both times, he was the strongest warrior, and in both times we thought Gohan had fulfilled his prophecy. But no, there is something much deeper there that we need to unravel. So this analysis will move beyond such surface assessments. This will follow into a psychological deep dive in a case for understanding the intricate, often agonizing forces at play within Gohan. It posits that his critical failures were not born of simple character flaws, but were manifestations of a fundamental internal conflict. There was a deep schism between his innate Saiyan capabilities and his cultivated human values, nature versus nurture. So this exploration will shed light on how specific, overwhelming pressures, and specifically the psychological trauma inflicted during the Cell Games and the cognitive dissonance experienced against Buu precipitated massive, and critical failures. And yes, there were failures, guys. I'm reiterating this, but they were not surface level failures. They were not as simple as we think they are. They were not mere mistakes. They were complex psychological breakdowns under duress, revealing the profound struggle of a divided self burdened by power it never truly sought. So to understand Gohan's critical failures, we must first grasp the fundamental duality at his core. From his earliest years, he was presented with a nature distinct from his Saiyan lineage. He was distinct from his father, and one can argue was closer to how his mother was. And he didn't resonate with his father as much, yet he loved him, he looked up to him, he was impressed by him, and he wanted to surpass him. However, little did we know, and little did his father know, that he didn't thrive for mayhem just as his father did. And he was influenced heavily by his mother. He was predisposed towards scholarship, forced into schooling. He possessed a gentle soul and a gentle spirit that recoiled from conflict. He didn't want to go heads on towards conflict. He wanted to run away from it. Yet, dormant within him lay an immense latent power and a direct inheritance from his father. And his father was one and only Goku, and the Saiyan potential was dwarfed nearly all other personas of Gohan. And this is one of the best example we can see in probably TV history about nature versus nurture. And this inherent contradiction was violently thrust into the open by circumstance. His childhood was not one of peaceful study. Definitely not. I wouldn't wish this childhood on no one should, at 3 years old, should see his father die. No one at 4 years old should go into the wilderness and fight dinosaurs on his own. But a crucible forged, he was just a small child forged by conflict. And the arrival of Raditz, the training under Piccolo, and the battles against Vegeta and Nappa on Earth, the desperate fight for survival on Namek, these were not chosen by Gohan. They were forced upon him, and there were necessities that he had to face head on. So each event inflicted significant early trauma, searing the realities of life or death. And it was a combat that his psyche child was not prepared for. And Piccolo's mentorship was very, very important. One could say it was crucial, and especially crucial for his survival. But this further complicated this internal landscape that he had. He instilled discipline, and he honed Gohan's fighting instinct. So that bridged the gap between a helpless child and a capable warrior. However, this mentorship intrinsically fostered a path centered on combat, a destiny Gohan never wanted. Thus, right here, the stage is set with the core internal conflict. Gohan possesses god-tier power and the Saiyan fighting instincts that he rarely wants to utilize unless it is for sparring or for fun or to beat criminals. But these personas clash perpetually with his conscious desire for a peaceful and intellectual life. This unresolved tension, this war within himself, forms the bedrock of the psychological vulnerabilities that will later manifest under extreme pressures that we know as the fight against Buu and the fight against Cell.